What's going on, guys? It's Luke Madeus here, and welcome to another episode of School of Wholesaling. And welcome to the page, guys. Welcome. If you're brand new to this YouTube page, I welcome you. All right. If you're here to figure out how to wholesale real estate and gain knowledge and tips and secrets to help you have a competitive edge, you are in the right place. And I am actually excited to bring on a special guest today. I actually want to go over an amazing tool that I utilize every single week as I'm driving for dollars. It is the one and only, you got it, Deal Machine. And I'm bringing on Matt Kemp today to show you guys how to get started in the tool. So no more guessing or wondering how to actually use it or how to even take advantage of it while you're driving for dollars. We're actually going to show you guys the actual Deal Machine platform online through our computer right now. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Matt, and we are going to go ahead and get started. So I hope you guys are super excited as I am to be bringing him on right now to share with you guys the amazing golden nuggets that we've got for you to help you have a competitive edge. We are going to show you how to get started utilizing the tool, and even more powerful than that, we're going to show you how the tool can help you actually be able to know and have a plan as to how you're going to get to that first deal ASAP. So go ahead, sit tight, make sure you have some pen and paper ready to go so you can take plenty of notes, all right, and really get the most use out of the tool. And of course, you'll have an amazing opportunity to get access to this tool. If you don't have it already and you're not utilizing it, we're actually going to give you access to this tool with an amazing bonus, guys. So go ahead, make sure you get your pen and paper, make sure that you're ready to be ready to learn and take advantage of this opportunity. We are going to be rolling out an amazing amount of tips, tools, and secrets, and even some new features that Deal Machine hasn't even released yet that's only going to be given to our private group. So welcome. If you're brand new, make sure you hit the subscribe bell and be sure that you don't miss a beat, because I'm going to be coming out with more and more amazing content like this. So let's go ahead and bring on Matt Kemp and let's get started.
Let's wholesale real estate. We're gonna wholesale real estate. If you wanna wholesale real estate, then you are in the right place. You don't need no money, you don't need no credit. It's so simple that anyone can get it. Luke's gonna teach you just how to get started. All you have to do is learn and apply it. You are in the right place. You're gonna wholesale real estate. You're gonna wholesale real estate. So let's get started.
Hey, it's Luke Madeus here, and I'm here with Matt Kemp, and we're actually going to do some Deal Machine review. As a matter of fact, we're going to do more review. We're going to actually do a walkthrough. We're going to take you through the tool. We're going to show you how to use it, so you're just not thrown out there on the tool wondering what to do. You actually know the steps, and you know the advantages and tips that I use in my business, and also what power the tool has straight from Matt Kemp himself, who knows the tool inside and out. What's going on, Matt? How you doing?
Yeah, doing great, Luke. Thanks again for having me on. And again, yeah, like you said, we're really going to deep dive into like all the pro tips that we're finding, and just because we made this tool to try to be as simple and easy to use as possible, but then also have many complexities and many almost hidden features where if you know what to do, know how to start using it best, I'll be able to share how to do that today and how a lot of our members are getting the most value possible out of it. So I'll try to go give kind of the master class, give a lot of pro tips around how to best use this tool to find your next deal.
Awesome, fantastic. And this is such a crucial part. When you drive for dollars, there's so much value in having a tool like Deal Machine to be able to help you leverage your time, right? Because time is money. And it's not just about your time, but it's also the amount of time it takes you to get to that homeowner who needs help right away, right? So this is where Deal Machine truly adds a ton of power to the investor toolbox, because what you're able to do is you're able to set yourself aside from all the other investors who are probably getting out there as well, driving, trying to find those distressed properties, trying to find those motivated sellers. You're able to get in front of them first because they're still doing it the old way. I know when I was doing it the old way, Matt, actually we were talking about this, right? During one of our private calls, we were actually talking about this. And I used to do it the old way, the pen and paper, trying to figure it out, trying to write it all down, and trying to have to find people later on, hours and hours and hours of work. And guys, time is money, because think about this, right? If I can get a hold of a motivated seller hours before you can, I got the deal hours before you did. So this is where the value came in for me with Deal Machine. So we're actually going to show you guys some really, really awesome, really, really awesome features here. And I'm just so excited. As you can tell, Matt, I'm just pumped up right now. I'm ready to just
love it, man. I love it.
We're fired up today. And so where should we start, Matt?
Yeah, I'm happy to dive in here. And again, like you said, Luke, it's all about speed. So like you said, being one of the first people in front of them and consistently doing it, like consistently staying top of mind, which that's probably, I mean, in terms of where people are making the biggest mistakes, it's one, like not taking action to begin with, which, you know, if you're watching this video, you're already working down that path. That's phenomenal. Like you're already in that mindset of, I need to educate myself. I need to take action. So, you know, you're already doing well there. But actually getting in your car, driving around, you know, trying to find distressed properties, that's kind of step one. Step two is taking action on that. So not just building this list that, you know, one, you know, like you said, we think driving for dollars is the best way to see the best ROI in finding those deals, because these are leads that only you have, only you found this, only, you know, you validated this with your own eyes. So, you know, to begin with, like you're creating a great list, you're taking action, but then following through with that action and actually marketing to them and sending postcards and making calls and, you know, taking action on actually getting in touch with people. That's where, you know, the step two is that you can separate yourself from the competition is consistently doing that. And, you know, it's similar to like working out or any kind of good habit. It's, you got to do it every day. You got to, or do it, you know, make it a habit in general. You got to consistently get out there. So if you can build that list, if you can, you know, take action on that list, and then consistently follow up with them, where you're sending a postcard every so often, you're making a call every so often. Like the technology we built today, it's about speed and getting in front of them, and then it's about automation to be able to follow up and use your time as efficiently as possible. So I'll walk through all of that today on you know, going through this actual demo. You're looking good, by the way, loving the hat and the shirt. So I love to see that, like you truly have seen the value out of using this and can speak on it yourself too. So I'm excited to hear your point of view of, as I'm walking through this, of like, hey, here's what I do, you know, personally too. So
yeah, so pumped and ready to get started with this walkthrough video tutorial right now. There's a lot of value that we're going to share with everyone.
Yep.
Matt, as you know, I'm sure you probably know this, man. Most users that hop into this, they kind of get started blindly. You know, they don't really take the time to learn the software, the tools, and really see where the power is packed in to the tool, so they can really leverage it in their business and get the best results, right? So this is the value of this entire video. If you don't know how to use this tool, by the end of this video, you're going to know step by step how to use this tool, and there's going to be no excuse as to why you should be pulling deals with Deal Machine. Ain't that right?
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I mean, you can see my screen here now too, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Dashboard. Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'll walk through this. Like you said, I mean, it's not even, I mean, yeah, like step by step using the tool itself, but even beyond that, like what are those things that people are doing to find their next deal? Like what are those little things that they're doing? Because all those little things do add up. So, and that can apply, you know, that can apply regardless of any tool you're using. A lot of this is like, how do I build great habits to get out there, to drive for dollars, to start to build my own unique list that no one else has and market to them properly. So I'll really go through all this. I mean, you know, we've actually recently revamped our onboarding process. So anybody who's signing up brand new, it'll automatically guide them through this new ROI calculator. And really, like this initial dashboard, you know, the whole goal of this is to say, like, you know, let's really achieve success together. Like, let's set the right goals, and then, you know, based on those goals, take the right actions, and then based on those actions, you know, measure our results. So understand what's working, what's not working, how we can get more ROI from this. To begin with, really the kind of the top of the funnel. So we say like, hey, you know, it is a numbers game. There's at a certain point, you need to set goals on how many, you know, how much profit you want, how, you know, thinking just high level, you know, from a money-making standpoint on the business, like what can you calculate per deal, or like, what is your goal per month and per deal? So that way you can automatically say, all right, if I want to make, you know, 20K profit a month and have 10K profit per deal, pretty easy. I got to have 2 deals per month to hit that. We actually try to coach you through further and say, okay, to be conservative, we think that, you know, about 1 in every 300 leads, 300 qualified leads is where you're going to get a deal. And, you know, you might have, we've seen people literally put in 4 leads and get a deal. Like that can happen. We've seen people put in more than this, because this is the average amount, right? We've seen people put in more than this, and it can take a little bit of time. But if you're taking all these steps and consistently getting out there and doing this in the right way, day, you're setting yourself up for success. So our whole goal here is to be conservative. These are pretty conservative numbers to say, 300 leads will equal one deal. So, you need to add 600 leads per month to get there. We also say, all right, that means about 75 properties a week to get there. We actually are very conservative of properties per hour. Like we've seen people actually add up to 60 an hour if they're really cranking and really know what to look for. But, we'll say, all right, let's keep it just 12 per hour, very manageable, one every 5 minutes. That means you need 7 hours per week to drive, which is an hour a day. So this is ambitious. This is something where if you can cut out and say, hey, an hour per day, whether it's me or somebody else driving, use this tool to focus on that. And just from a numbers perspective, if you can hit that lead amount, you're putting in the right leads, you're following up with people with postcards, with calls, that your annual profit from that would be estimating $15 an hour. If you can pay a driver to drive an hour a day for you at $15 an hour, so $15 a day. You're marketing 3 mailers per lead, which is what we say is the minimum recommended amount to be able to get in front of people, and you're paying for Deal Machine. That annual profit comes out to $216K a year. So we really want to break it down for you, so that way, like, this might look like a lot, this might look like some big hairy number and process, but to get there, it really does start with figuring out, okay, how many leads per month do I need to put in, and how long is that going to take me to put that in?
Wow, that's awesome. So this right here is very, very valuable because it literally breaks down an entire plan. So even if you're brand new to this entire process, you can punch in what you want, right? And Deal Machine will literally calculate and show you how much effort to put in to get the results you want. Is that right?
Yep, exactly, man. So we just want to make it approachable for people, like to think long term. You got to start by goal setting. It is a numbers game in the end. Like it's something where if you want to hit, even just your first deal, then okay, how do we get those first 300 leads in the system? How can we set goals? So if I'm going to drive, a couple times a week and expect, 50 leads per time I'm in or per week, or, just breaking it down into much more manageable steps is how you start to work towards your end goal, right?
Yeah. And this is truly amazing because, the number one question I hear a lot, right? Speaking to coaching students, speaking to audience of School of Wholesaling, the number one question I get a lot when it comes to driving for dollars is how many properties do I need to drive or find a month to get my result or to close a deal? So this actually answers that for you, and it's whatever you really want that can go in here, which is amazing. And I have to say, just from the metrics here, I see that you have the average number for one deal is about 300 leads. For us, the average number is about, because every area is a little bit different, and of course, what you're looking for sure. Right? For us right now, last month we found about, or the month before, we found about 500 deals, 500 properties, excuse me, and we're actually closing a deal off of that now. So that's a really awesome thing. So it does match. I have to say the metrics are very close,
there we go.
And so it's awesome. It's awesome, man. Very, very valuable.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that's really the numbers that we're getting off this is from our just our past data saying like, hey, how successful are our drivers or our Deal Machine members, and how many leads are they putting in to get to that first deal or to get to that next deal. So, like you said, I mean, I would say the more dense the area, like if you're in a really dense city, it's going to be probably more leads per deal. That ratio is going to be a little bit off that way, just because of the density and probably the competition that you're going up against with other real estate investors. But I would say 300 is a really good initial, pretty conservative goal to set and to go after. So. I think this initial, you'll walk through this in our new onboarding. Like this will walk you through and say, let's set goals, and then it'll tell you, okay, here's how Deal Machine works. You've got this free CRM that are all of your leads that help you manage your pipeline. You've got this driving for dollars technology to help you build that list, and then you've got this list pulling technology to help you also pull leads that way too. So those are kind of like the 3 main arms of Deal Machine, and your new onboarding process will walk you through that. Obviously, if you're watching this video, we'll give you the deep dive on that. And then, the marketing channel. So once you build that list, how you market to that list, you've really got two options. You've got skip tracing. So that's, pinging our database to try to find any phone numbers, email addresses, anything like that to be able to call or text or email people. Or you've got your mailers, your postcards. And that's really kind of the automated piece that's going to really scale. Like that's the thing that, as you get out there, you're going to save more and more time because you can set it and forget these campaigns. So I'll walk you through how to do that too. But your first stage is build that list. So that's kind of the list engine, street engine, and the CRM to manage it. And then it's market to that list. It's skip tracing and it's mailers. So
yes, if I could just say this, man, before you continue, my favorite feature of the entire system is the automated follow-up. Just being able to set it and forget it, and especially with direct mail, such a powerful way to get a hold of homeowners. And it's actually a component nowadays. I think that a lot of new investors and a lot of investors in general are kind of overlooking, because it's crowned as the old way of
old school,
right?
For sure.
In real estate, but man, it's one of the most powerful ways to market in real estate, especially when you're consistent. And one of the major issues that newbies have is consistency with marketing, right? As you may already know, right, it takes about 5 to 6 touches to create a result, right? A lot of times. And so with Deal Machine, you can just set it, forget it. It'll touch every 21 days, every 30 days, however often you want it to, however many times you want it to do it 12 times, right? Or 24 times, you can do that. And so it creates a very automated system for even a newbie investor, which is awesome.
Yeah, for sure. That's the thing, like as you consistently put more and more leads in, like that is the number one thing that we're saving you time on, is that follow through. And like you said, that's the thing that's going to separate you from everyone else. Like when you get those 5, 6, 7, 8 touch points to somebody and you're staying top of mind over time, you might get lucky at first and they you send your first postcard and then they're actually ready to sell. Doesn't happen that often. It's usually something where they get a postcard, they might put it on their fridge. You might just be the top of the pile. And if you consistently do that and stay top of mind with them when they are ready, 6 months down the road or a year down the road or whatever it might be, you're the first one that's been consistently getting in front of them that they think of, so that's the thing that I know per postcard. Like we did this manually, like you said, the old school way of, writing down the address and trying to find the owner and all that stuff. Like that took us like 20-25 minutes to write down the address, find the owner, write the postcard, put it in the mail and send it off. Like, we did that. And in Deal Machine, it takes you 7 to 10 seconds. Like it's something where you take a picture and you hit send mailer if it's a qualified lead, so that's probably the thing that's going to separate you the most and save you the most time and money from that perspective. So I think kind of to show this off the dashboard, again, like the first part is to set goals with it. We have a lot of education on here too. Like we have webinars constantly. We have case studies constantly to help teach you on how to take your use of Deal Machine to the next level. I think, a lot of the stuff that they talk about, I'll give you today in this demo. Once you set those goals, how you actually go through and see the activity that leads to achieving them, that's through this bell right here. Is you can actually see account activity to see, what you've been doing on here, how many leads you've been adding, what kind of lists you've been creating, just kind of our overall general activity here. And then actually a newer feature too is this calendar feature. We just launched this like 2 weeks ago. You won't see anything on here from me because I haven't sent any mail from this specific account. But if you're doing those mailers you're talking about, here's where you manage those campaigns. Like here's where you can see, I've sent this many mailers, or I have this many scheduled coming up, or, here's how much I've spent on mailers, or, this calendar feature literally just launched it. So I'm not even sure if you were aware of it yet, but This is a new one for me. Yeah, there you go. Brand new.
I can already see the value though. It keeps track of your KPIs. It's also keeping track of how much money you're investing as well, which is very valuable when you run any business for that matter. Especially for a newbie real estate investor who, it may be overwhelming for them to keep track of all of that. Deal Machine's doing that for them. That's amazing.
Yeah. So this thing, we made this, again, to really kind of listening to your feedback, listening to the Deal Machine community's feedback on what would help them most. It was how we manage our mail better and how do we keep track of what we're spending on mail and see what's going out and that kind of thing. So you can do a lot, really like kind kind of this feature was built for that reason. So within your dashboard, you've got, the goal setting, you've got activity and what activity is coming up. And then you can come down and see actual just general analytics around what's working and what's not. Like you can see, how many leads I've added and what mailers I've sent out and, active leads currently, and then actually go in here and see, the ROI of what I'm doing. So every time you close a deal, you can go back through here and filter out these leads to see, who added that deal and what were the property tags on that deal and, what campaign was that deal on and really kind of reverse engineer to say like, hey, here's what worked for this deal. Let's figure out what those elements were that worked and let's do more of that. So we've created the dashboard to really help you just be aware of what's working and calculate that ROI, set those goals and then take the right activities and optimize those activities over time to get better and better and better at what you're doing.
Wow, that is beautiful. That's beautiful. So essentially you're able to keep track of what you're doing and improve as you're doing it, and Dilma should actually show you the data behind it. That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, like, you don't know what's working unless you measure it. So that's our goal there is like, hey man, let's every time you close a lead, let's look back, let's show you the data to see what's working, what's not working, and continue to get better and better at what you're doing. Great.
That is fantastic.
Yeah. So we've got this kind of home-based dashboard. To dive in here on our street engine. So like I mentioned, we've got kind of the street engine map driving around. We've got the leads, which is the CRM, and then you've got the list pulling engine. To start here, this driving for dollars engine, I mean, this is really the anchor of what makes us unique. Like this is really the piece that we're known for, that we've really built everything around, that, is your main recommended way of finding leads is getting out there and you driving around or you hiring a team to drive around, which we'll touch on that briefly too. But really to show you like, the end goal is when you jump into this map, you're going to hit, this start driving button up here. You literally get in your car and start driving around. Like, this is something where if you're following Luke's content, like he talks often about driving for dollars, whether it be in the course or on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, I think like where we fit in is to make that driving for dollars process much, much easier, help you fully use data to really understand what's working and or really get in touch with people, and then be able to consistently follow up. And that's all through the maps feature right here. So, when you get out there and start driving around, you'll be able to see like, every black dot that I have here is a property that, I have not added to my CRM yet. When you click on that property and, when you're driving around, you'll be able to easily do that. You'll see, is it owner occupied? Is it vacant? Is it absentee owned? Like who's the owner of this property? What kind of, data do we have on them? So is it, you can see all the county assessor data right there populates to see, the actual sale price of the house and, when it was built and square footage and all that type of stuff. When you go in here and actually hit add lead, what I highly recommend, and this will pop up whenever you're actually, out in the field, but which this portion I'd say use on your phone. Like a lot of the other stuff is really good on desktop, but this portion especially use on your phone. When you hit add lead, that'll add it on your phone. You can say, okay, this is added to your CRM. It'll pop up and say, hey, do you want to take a picture of this property? Which I highly, highly recommend. Just because when you do take a picture of that, you'll be able to automatically import that picture into any postcard you're sending. So, that's one big way of really standing out to these owners is when you hit send, like your actual picture is going to import into that mailer, and they're going to see a postcard with their property on it, which is something that like is going to stand out to them. It's going to immediately get their attention. It's going to show that you're not just spamming them, but you actually literally drove past that property and checked it out and said, here's why I'm getting in touch with you. And really in general, like we've actually seen people, if it's absentee owned, we've seen people legitimately give you a call and say like, hey, I'm 3 states over. I didn't realize my property looks like this. Is this really the state it's in right now? Like, it might really drive home for people like, hey, this is an issue here. Like, this is not, this is a distressed property for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, truly a powerful feature in this tool is just being able to have all the information right there in front of you. Mm-hmm. And aside from that, now I know you're going to get into this next, but I'm kind of itching to talk about it because Once you find the house, right, the second most common question I hear is, how do I actually get in contact with them, right?
Yep, what do I do from here?
So this is where we went from the prehistoric age to 2020, right?
Yeah.
Or let's say 2018.
For sure.
But awesome. Yeah, do you mind talking about that next step?
Yeah, man. And I think a lot of these marketing channels, like you said, I mean, direct mail, cold calling, like these are ways that are tried and true. Like they're things that we're giving you technology to make you way more efficient at it. But giving a postcard in the end, like that is actually something that you might think is old school, quote unquote. But a couple things, like one, marketers, no matter what the new marketing channel is, all marketers flood it and try to ruin that channel. Like it automatically gets crowded right away, right? So direct mail is actually being looked over and actually gets really, really good responses compared to even like various other digital online marketing channels. So you see, like that is one area that has been looked over in a lot of ways. But I think even outside of that, direct mail is something that there's something to the physical picture and the physical touch of that postcard that you see and is going to pop. Like it's something where if you go through and you're going through your mail and sorting through it and you see a picture of your house, you see, a very custom text on there about why they reached out. If it's visually appealing, which our templates, we've designed to be like that, that all these are factors that are going to set you up more chance to register on their radar and to set you up for success. So, when you go in here and you add a lead, you'll see you can skip trace that owner. So to answer your question, you can either skip trace them, which let me do that real time here, and if we don't have any data, it won't charge it. It'll ping back and say, hey, we don't have anything. But I know anytime you skip trace from here, if you're on our basic plan, which you can see, we've got 3 phone numbers, no email addresses, which that's awesome. On the spot, we can call these 3 numbers, to try to get a hold of them. But I think, it's 17 cents to skip trace currently for our basic plan. So just make sure to budget that in while you're driving around. But I think our most successful users, they're relying on the look of the house. They're seeing the house, it's a distressed property. And then their second step is they are skip tracing, and calling them on the spot if possible. Which is something you have to get used to. It's going to be a muscle you got to exercise too. Like, you'll crash and burn sometimes. There'll be awkward conversations sometimes, but the worst case scenario is you get a no, and then you're there where you were already. So it's like, consistently do that. I would say cold calling on the spot is one way. We see people as calling and saying like, hey, I'm an investor down the street, or I'm a neighbor down the street. I'm a new investor. If you're new, like just being very transparent with them about it and saying, hey, I drove past your property. I noticed here's, what was the issue with it? Would you be open to selling it? Are you looking for help keeping up with it? Like just being really consultative and really kind of approach it that way is what we see people getting the most success with, is being transparent and honest like that. So you've got the call on the spot, or you can mail on the spot as well, which I think our most successful users, they're probably calling on the spot, and then they're probably adding the lead to the CRM. And when they're done with their drive, they'll go back through and see, the 30 leads they added or whatever. And then at that point, they'll send the mailers. So that way you're not having to hit send mail, while you're pulled over on the side of the street, over and over again. So.
Awesome. And I just want to add this as well. One of the things that I do when I'm utilizing the tool is, aside from, just making that phone call right on the spot, right? If you're not able to get in contact with the homeowner on that phone call, of course you're gonna leave a voicemail, but go the extra mile and actually send a text message, right? That's something that works actually very well. It gets me a lot of responses, a lot faster. So you just know the answer, because sometimes they may not call you back, but they can quickly text, right? A lot of times people are just busy. So sure. Definitely, that's something that I do. I'll send a text message, and then of course from there you take advantage of that mailing feature and just put on that automatic mail until they reach back. And really quickly, if I just ask this, Matt, of course, when you get that answer, right, that no, right, that we're all looking for. Notice I said the no, right? Because the yes, it's a numbers game, right? You're not gonna. It's okay not to expect a yes right away. As a matter of fact, it's a whole lot of power in expecting a no. But when we get that no, or we get that yes, or we get that maybe, right, that follow-up answer, how do we organize that lead?
Yeah, so that really the CRM was created for that reason, for sure. Like we want to help you organize your pipeline, organize this list of leads and how you're following up with them. You can actually go in here and each individual lead, it'll track your activity on there. So, you can see you skip traced, or I skip traced just now. You can say called and left voicemail, you can post that. If there's other people on your team that are also, driving around and that kind of stuff or calling or anything, like, they can all throw their notes in here as well. And then I would say like texted them, if you send a mailer that shows up. I would like to reinforce, Luke. I mean, you said, calling and texting, for sure, like use as many touch points as you possibly can, because like you said, it does take on average like 6 to 7 touch points to even get on someone's radar. So if you're able to call them and text them and then, leave a voicemail and then send a mailer, like you're already knocking out a lot of touch points there. And if you can put them on a mail campaign from there, especially if you kind of cluster it up front and, do a handful of things right away and then slowly do, once a month, those mailers, that's where you're going to get on their radar and then stay top of mind until the timing is right. So I highly, highly recommend that. And really, how to keep your touch points organized will be through this leads tab right here, which I'll dive right into here in just a second. So great question of like, how do you consistently do that? Like that's where you start with it. One last pro tip I would like to share is the highlights feature on this map. So I don't know if this is something that you use at all. When you go in here, you can actually click highlights and then it'll give you a quick list of property types that you can say, hey, show me highlighted on here. So you can go in here and literally say, hey, show me, all the absentee owned properties in my area. And then hit, apply, and you'll see a green box pop up. So that way, right away, like, oh, I can drive around and like, yeah, you want to add properties outside of what pops up. But when you see a green box like that, this is a really qualified lead. It fits exactly the criteria I'm looking for, and really look at this house to make sure if it's a distressed property or not.
What?
Yeah, that's a big one.
That is an awesome feature. That's an amazing feature. So anyone can just hop in here, right?
Yeah.
And let me just push a button, and they'll know what houses are absentee owners, what houses are vacant. So even without you even getting out there into your backyard, right? You already know where these houses are located. Is that right?
Yeah, man. Like this is probably the number one feature that people might skip over and might not test out, and can save you a ton of time. Like it's funny, the highlights feature, based on that and based on our route tracking, which really quick, I'll show you. When you click on this little toggle button right here, you'll see that my route tracking is on, which, if I was physically driving around right now, you'd see a little green line show up behind me of everywhere I've been driving. And actually it turns yellow at 6 months and red at a year. So that way you can see, what areas have I driven and how long ago was it? Like, if it's red, maybe you go redrive it, right? But the highlights feature and the route tracking feature, people put that together and said, oh, actually, I would love to have a planned routes feature where I came in here and I said, hey, get me to the vacant properties in my area as quickly as possible and as efficiently as possible. And we actually this week, so depends on when you're viewing this video, but this week, mid-November 2020, we are launching our planned route mode. So not many people know about this yet. Very few, but our planned route mode is going to be coming out here this week, where you can actually put in there and say, hey, show me or take me to all of the properties in my area that are vacant or that are, absentee owned, or that are, you can get really specific. You can even import a list if you're using our list engine and say, show me how to get to all the properties on this list as quickly as possible. And it's going to automatically import when you drive around. It's going to import the GPS right there to say, hey, go to this property, 0.1 miles away, go to this property half mile, then this property, and it'll guide you around and take you the most efficient route possible to hit every single property on your list and save you as much time as possible. So you don't have to look at the list, look at the map and try to figure out how to get here or there or there. It'll automatically do it for you. So.
Dude, that is amazing, man. It's amazing. And thank you so much for even sharing that feature. I know it's not a feature that, that you mentioned anyone yet. Man, I feel like we got like this VIP access right now to some.
This is a lab. Yeah, this is
it's a lab. So thank you so much for sharing that with me and also with the SOW Nation, man. Now this feature is very powerful. I love the driving route feature. And actually this here, what just on the screen here where it says show driving routes. That's awesome because one of the things too that I feel a lot of newbies look over, right, is, hey, just because you drove it once doesn't mean 6 months or 12 months from now, someone else in the same neighborhood you drove may not be in a position to sell or may not have vacated their house 6 months ago. So it's good to have at least an idea of a time frame as to, okay, maybe it's a good time for me to drive back over in that neighborhood. I might find some new results.
100%. Yeah, man. I mean, that is that for sure. Like, we want to make it as visual and easy for you as possible to figure that out. And then I would say, like, if you looking at the Deal Machine plans, our basic plan, the main goal of that is just to get you started and get you out there. Our Pro plan is the one that has this planned route, or the has this route tracking feature on it. All of them will have the route planning. And then our Enterprise plan is helping you build a driving team. So I'll get into that here in a minute. But I do want to get back to, I know you said how do you organize your leads? Now I didn't want to miss any of those pro tips there, but I can show you kind of what the organization of your pipeline looks like here from here now too. Let's click on this. Did you have any other thoughts on the map before I keep rolling?
Dude, no, I believe we covered all of the juiciest, and most amazing tips and tools and features. So I love it, man.
Awesome. Yeah, that's the main place. Like, if you are just getting started, I'd say you got to live in that map, live in driving around and building that list, So
another thing, I just want to add in my pro tip in terms of the map. It's very powerful. Of course, aside from getting out there and driving around, it's good to do your market research, right? Any investor, you need to do your market research. You'll know where those hot zones are, those hot areas are. And what that actually does is, just going back to that previous route, is the route, not the route planner, but
the track route?
The route tracker.
Yeah.
See, right? The route tracker, right? The powerful thing about that we really, really utilize a whole lot is it's powerful because we have farm areas. Now, when you have a farm area, you know exactly where those hot areas are, and utilizing Deal Machine, it keeps you up to date on your farm areas as to how much work and activity you're doing there and when you need to go back there. So I just wanted to mention that because I know a lot of investors that get started that are new, a lot of times just kind of get out there, right? But when you do that market research and you develop farm areas, this tool right here, that feature will make a whole lot more sense to you. And aside from that, it'll be so powerful. So utilize the farm areas with this too.
Yeah, and I do think, like, the more you get out there and driving, like, you're gonna learn these areas so much more than just sitting behind a computer. Like, going out there and driving it yourself and learning and building a driving team based on that is going to be invaluable. So identifying those farm areas and really understanding where you can find those deals will be more and more obvious when you get out there and do this. So great. Perfect. So the leads tab here. So this is really like the main place that you go and organize your entire pipeline. Like, this is our CRM. This is all free. So this is something that actually up to 50,000 contacts you can manage here for free. So if you have a spreadsheet, or if you have just a list of leads you've physically written down, like anything like that, this is going to get you be way more organized, way more powerful than just having that, where you can come in here and import either one by one or add an entire Excel file of those property addresses. And when you do that, it's going to backfill all the data we have around it. Like, it'll come in here and it'll show you, like, hey, here, let me back out of here. It'll show you all of these, anything that we've got here in terms of owner type and sale price and assessed value and all that type of stuff will automatically be populated here. So right away, you're getting a ton of value out of that for free. The main goal of the CRM, like I said, is to organize your list or your leads and where they are when it comes to marketing to them. So you can see this lead status piece is probably the number one place that you can go in here and see, what deals do I have pending approval, which means they don't have any marketing to them yet. When you click with marketing, it'll automatically start sending mailers to them. So that's when I mentioned, like, if we go out and drove today and got 20 or 50 leads or whatever in here, I would probably go back on my computer, like desktop, and click around and hit with marketing for each of them to be able to start marketing postcards to them. You can do that in bulk too, just by clicking this and hit start mailers. So this is a place to see each individual lead, each individual property address. If they have marketing, if they don't, it'll also tell you like when that marketing is complete. So if you set a campaign to only send a couple mailers to them, that'll tell you when that's all done and finished too. So you can easily go through that and see, which ones should I call again, or which ones should I mark deal lost or recycle through this marketing process. The lists here, you can actually go in here and tag them, create a list really, really easily to say, hey, here's a certain neighborhood, here's a certain property value, whatever the list might be, you can customize it and tag them that way. So that way you can filter by list to easily view just everything in that particular list and organize your properties that way. And then tagging is kind of the last thing here, where if you go in here, I would recommend tags in a couple different ways. Like I'd say tags to really go through and talk about the marketing activities you're doing. So if you've cold called them or anything, or you send them a text, like I'd tag them that way just to make it really easy to view the tag and filter out by that. I actually go in here and we'll put what days. So if I usually follow up on Mondays and Tuesdays. So I can click and say, okay, I want to follow up on Tuesday with that. And then I'll actually also tag physical distress that I see. So if I want to come here and say, yeah, there were broken windows and, peeling paint, and update with all those tags. And that way, every Monday and Tuesday I come in here and I filter my leads and say, all right, I want to see, everything that is a follow-up on Monday. Click that, use that, apply filter. And then you'll see, okay, I've got these five leads to follow up with today, whether it be a call, a text, a mail, or whatever it might be. So I'll kind of use this as a way to see, where it is in the process. Does it have marketing? Does it not? What list is it in? So I can organize it accordingly. What tags do I have to be able to organize my follow-ups and really understand the physical distress of that property, and then all other data that I can get to, whether it's, skip tracing for it, or just seeing like the free data we backfill these leads with.
That is awesome, man. That's a powerful tool. Now, if it's good that I ask, right? Yeah. Now, of course, you could filter this a number of ways and really get really granular with this, right?
Yeah.
Now, could you show someone, let's say if you wanted to build your list and maybe you were marketing and you wanted to just see and keep track of your list every month, right?
Yeah.
See where you're at. How could somebody even filter that out? How do you do that?
From a list perspective, or?
Yeah, from a list perspective, yeah.
So if you go in here and you actually, here, let me clear all here. So you can actually go in here and on your list, really the main thing about this list filter, just to make sure I understand your question correctly, the list filter especially, like I think that's an area that if you're using our list engine and our driving for dollars engine, like if you're out there driving yourself and you're pulling lists from our technology, this list area is going to be able to make it really easy to kind of organize the difference between those two. And we do focus on differentiating them a little bit, because the driving for dollars one, again, is an original lead that only you have found. Like you've driven past it yourself, you've verified it with your own eyes. Like it's probably a lead that no one else has. Whereas the list engine is going to be a little more competitive, and you're going to be able to easily, when it pulls in here, it'll be easy to market and identify those, right? Because it was, a couple clicks of a button, but it's going to be, you're going to have to spend more on the marketing side, just because, it's going to take more to get in front of them and to be able to have a touch point that stands out, because they may have other investors that are trying to call them, trying to email them, send postcards, all that kind of stuff, because it's easy to find them in a list pulling service like that. So I think if you filter your leads by list here, what I've actually gone on and what I really like to do is I like to tag them by qualifiers. So these are, me going in list engine, I pulled a list that said, show me every vacant property that is worth over 200K and sold less than 10 years ago. So I updated those filters, or I can, apply those filters and see, I've got this many leads here that all that all were pulled under that specific criteria. So that's kind of how I use the list filters, to be able to come in here and be able to understand, how can I see all the properties under a specific criteria all at once like that. Does that answer your question? Or?
Yes. That's perfect, bro. Perfect.
Cool, man. Yeah.
That's perfect. So, if you're not familiar with how to put a list together, that's a perfect way to do it. because when it's time to go back and re-engineer, you know exactly what type of lead you got to deal from. That's powerful.
Yeah. No, I'll do that. It'll automatically label it if it's from your list engine on like, oh, I drew a custom area and said, show me all the vacant properties there. Or you can go in here and actually title it accordingly and say, yeah, like I want to see absentee owned, less than 200K and sold over 10 years ago. You know, I'll update it and, kind of name them accordingly to that. So, I'd say like in general, I use this for seeing what, where in the pipeline my leads are, if they're getting marketing or not. I'll filter it out by leads and lists and tags to know who I should follow up with when, about the property, the physical attributes of the property, and, what marketing activities I'm doing to them, to get in touch with them, and then kind of use all this data to help inform me on what leads are best and what I should go after. So.
Awesome.
Cool. Perfect, man. So let me jump into the list engine here too. So like I said, we've got kind of the map, the driving for dollars, map. That's really kind of the number one thing that people are using to generate their lists. They've got this leads feature to manage all their leads for free. And then this list engine, this is something that if you go in here and you really, really simply, we tried to make it as straightforward as possible around building a list. This is where you're just using our data as effectively as possible. And, like I said, it's going to take a little bit more marketing budget to reach these people because, they're more competitive leads. They're easier to pull, whether it's through us or any list pulling technology. But going in here and clicking like, hey, I want to, create a new plan, hit a certain zip code, or actually draw an area I'll show you. You can go in here and say, yeah, like I'm in, South City, St. Louis, and I want to click around and show me all of the leads in this area that are absentee owned, which it probably will be a decent sized list here. Yeah, 3,000 leads here. So that's what I mean is you want to get a much, much more, niche than that typically if you're looking at a smaller marketing budget. If not, if you're like, hey, this is where I'm farming. This is the exact, the criteria I want to use is absentee owned. And I want to, be a little bit broader. And we make it really easy and simple to pull that list and to market to that list. But you can go in here and actually get much more specific and say, yeah, I want absentee owned, but I also want it to be, sold over 10 years ago and have an assessed value of, under 300K. Then you'll see, okay, 1,000 leads are going to fit that, 1,090. So the more and more we get specific on this criteria, you're going to be either very narrow or very very niche list, accordingly. So we can get really specific or broad with this type of stuff. So when you go down there to the bottom here, you'll actually see our smart list feature is probably one of our most powerful things to show you like how this evolves over time. Like our smart lists, they're dynamic. So that means every Monday we update this data. So you can see every Monday you're going to have this lead number go up or down according to properties entering your criteria or leaving your criteria. So, if you've got any other new properties that are absentee owned in this specific area you drew out and were sold over 10 years ago and are worth under 300K, that's going to automatically, be added to your list on Mondays or be taken away if they're sold like that. So when it comes to this automation I'm talking about, that's a incredibly powerful portion of that.
Yeah, man. Wow. Yeah.
So that's big. I mean, that and then marketing to it, like you can actually sync your marketing to that smart list too, where you turn this on and make sure you understand what you're turning on there. Like if you've got a big list, you're going to send out over 1,000 postcards. So make sure you're prepared to do that. I know a postcard is about 55 cents per mailer for us through our technology. So we try to make it as cheap as possible for you. But know that when you hit submit to that, you're going to be sending marketing to each property on this list. And when there's ones added, you'll automatically start sending to it. So that smart list feature, it's going to be like, hey, new property added, start marketing to it. You're gonna be one of the first people that gets in front of them too. So yeah.
Okay, so if I've got this right,
yeah,
what you're saying right now, Matt, is that Deal Machine has the ability to be able to keep up with new data, and aside from that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not only can it keep up with new data and add new data to your list according to your search criteria, but it will also automatically market to that list for you if it fits. Is that right?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's that automation we're talking about here is like, how do we be able to consistently put out put out, marketing materials that, you might catch them at the right time. You might take a couple of touch points to get there. Like, this is the type of stuff that's going to help you do that and help you save time while doing that, and help you scale your operation rather than you having to go through and update a lead every single, and send a new postcard every single time yourself. Right.
Wow. That's amazing.
So yeah, so this is pretty simple and straightforward. You come in here, you can either pick, like I said, zip code, city, or a specific area and build out a list accordingly. Hit build list. It's going to start to do that automatically for you. And this is going to take a while since it was, a pretty big list here. 1,000 lists or 1,000 leads are going to be updating there. But when you go in there, you'll be able to see, here's my smaller list. Here's how many I'm sending marketing to, which is none currently, but you can really get to specifics around the ROI of each individual list you're doing. And, again, you've got the driving for dollars portion, you've got this list engine portion, and they all pull together in your lead CRM. And that's kind of how you manage your pipeline there.
And if you don't mind just touching on this briefly, right? Because of course you can pull a list from the list engine, and to be honest, man, that's super powerful, especially with the syncing and the smart list feature. However, when we find our list, right, like this list here, when we find our list from the list engine, could we actually drive that list and actually see some of these houses?
Yeah, so that's actually the planned route mode is huge. So what we're coming out with this week is exactly that. It's like, hey, you can either highlight go back to the map really quick. You can either hit highlight and say show me every or show me how to get to every property within a specific highlight here, or you can actually go in and select a list as well. So you can say, hey, I pulled this list of all the absentee owned properties within a particular area. Show me the quickest way to get to all of these properties on this specific list. So that's actually a really, really good point. It's like, how do you do these in combo? Well, use the list engine to pull together that initial list. And then once you've done that, actually start driving around and verifying with your own eyes. And the planned route feature is going to be able to help you make that as efficient and easy as possible. So.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
What?
I know it's a lot of info here, but we're trying to really give you the masterclass of like, man, hopefully you've got these options. You've got virtual driving for dollars, which is a whole nother thing that you can do from Google Maps, from sitting from your couch. You can drive physically. Like, we try to remove every barrier possible of you being able to make an excuse of not going out and doing this, So hopefully this will help you really take action and run with it. So.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Man, what a tool.
So yeah, let me briefly, I can share really quick our mailer best practices. And then, happy to do a follow-up demo on like driving for, hiring a driving team. That's some next level stuff that I'd love to get into as a follow-up as well, to really show you like, hey, once you've mastered or once you've gotten used to driving yourself, how do you get to that next level? It's hiring a driving team, and it's being able to get out there and do that, as effectively as possible. And it's about, recruiting, managing, properly incentivizing them, looking at what's working. So I can do a follow-up on that as well. Today, I wanted to make sure that I gave everybody like the initial, like, hey, where do I starter kit of like, how do I get started? How do I do this myself? The only thing that I think is extremely key to touch on from a marketing perspective, outside of the calling, texting, voicemail, all that, email, like that approach, is the mailers. And the mailers here, you've got really kind of three different layers when it comes to mailers. You've got your signature, which is physically like who it's from. The pro tip I have there is like, make sure to include a picture of you and your family, or you and a dog or a pet, or, be able to put a picture of yourself versus a company logo. While you might think it may not be as credible per se, it really does stand out more. Like, we see way better response rates come from that than we would being able to come in and just blast out people with a template that doesn't have your face on it or anything. Like, we see our most of our top members, that's what they're doing. So I'd highly recommend doing that. And I know our basic and pro versions, you get a one signature, so you can put that on there. The template level, so I'll click on that. The template level is what the physical postcard actually looks like too. So you can see right away, we've got 10 default templates in here that they're all designed, to stand out. They're all designed to see what's working and, or based on what was working. And you can't go wrong with any of these initial 10. I would say, when you're going through this, you can actually create custom templates and custom text in here too. So, if you want to actually go to, the sample classic, you can go in here and say, hey, is this your vacant property? Or, you can get really, really specific around your messaging here. And that's when you're looking at what's working and you're able to see the ROI of what, through the dashboard of what's working, what's not. Go back and see what text you had. So I'd say always experiment with putting in new text. So that way you can see, what's going to stand out and what's working with people. But that's kind of, I would say to begin with, like just the default stuff is going to make it really simple and easy for you to go in, hit send, automate a lot of this, and be able to start sending out postcards that are, really really visually appealing and, has the picture of their house on there. Like all these pictures, all these properties, property addresses, like that's going to automatically import from you taking a picture of that property and from the deal, from the deal itself. So all that's automated, like it's going to make it give you the best chances possible to really stand out to that property owner.
Yes. This is a really, really amazing feature. And so there's 10 different designs here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So really, now I've got a great question for you. I got a great question.
Go for it.
Now, with all of these different designs that you have available to you,
Mm-hmm.
And also with the automatic follow-up process, right? Now, one of the features I use a lot is the campaigns, where you can kind of blend
Mm-hmm.
the two together, right? You can have full control over your marketing. Even the follow-ups, and actually even having specific designs at specific times dropping. You want to talk about that a little bit briefly?
Yeah, exactly. So that's that third layer. So you've got signatures with your name and your picture. You've got templates, so you can put all of this properly on a postcard and really stand out. And then your campaigns feature, what you're talking about, that is really, honestly, that's the secret sauce of what's going to help you stand out in general. It's getting to those 6, 7, 8 touch points and beyond. It's being able to automate this process so that way you don't have to send out a postcard every time, but you're going to be able to save time in between all of this and be as efficient as possible. So going in here, you can see I've created one campaign where you can actually go in and customize it all accordingly and say, all right, step 1, I want to send this template. I want to repeat that step and do it 3 times. So, you're going to get this template 3 times if you put somebody on this campaign, and then it's going to repeat every 15 days. So the first step is they're going to get a postcard every 15 days, with this exact template. Then after that, 30 days later, they're going to get this template. Just one of them, didn't repeat it. And then after that, every 45 days after that, you're going to get this template, and you get that 6 times. So you've got about 10 touch points here over about a year or so. It's really clustered up front. And now I have this, and it's to send to absentee owners. So I've really gone in here in every individual template. I've tweaked to say absentee, and I've messed with the wording a little bit to really appeal more to absentee owners. So I've gone through that. And then, anytime I put somebody on this campaign number 1 to send to absentee owners, they're going to get that exact sequence. So you said it once and forget it. That's going to get 10 postcards sent out over about a year. You'll be able to see in your leads, in your CRM, exactly where they are in that process. You'll be able to see on your calendar when they're getting their next mailers. And then when it's done being sent through there, you'll be able to see, which ones are not with marketing anymore. And that way you're able to go back and revisit those and, put them on that next campaign or figure out what to do with them from there. So yeah, this is how you get to that touch point threshold and stand out to people, save you time, and not have to consistently go back through lead after lead after lead and just hit send mailer again. This is the automation piece that's going to make you stand out.
I love this feature a ton. This feature has actually been around in Deal Machine for a little bit. I know that from when I started using it.
Yeah.
And, dude, this one feature alone has produced so many results in our business because the way we use it, it's all about personalization, right? And creating a very human-like experience, but utilizing technology to do it, so you don't have to be constantly there doing it every step of the way. And so a truly remarkable feature is a campaigns feature for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the thing. when you're going out there, I mean, this is one of the most pivotal things that David, our founder, wanted to integrate into even version 1 of Deal Machine is like, I want to find leads and I want to market to them more efficiently. And I want to save time while doing it and save money while doing it. Well, the whole goal is, you're going to get the best ROI out of original lists, driving for dollars list, and you're going to get the best time saving techniques by automating things. So, our even version 1 was the map, drive, find deals, and then market to those deals using automation, using campaigns like this. So that's like the Deal Machine at its most basic mission. I'd say campaigns, you gotta dig into that and figure out how to use those best. Awesome, man. I think that's pretty much it. Like I know we did quite a deep dive on a lot of this stuff. The driving feature, like I said, I'd love to do a follow-up on to really help people go to that next level. I know when you click on more here, you can see like you've got team, that's going to be your driving team. Request feature, like I said, we really listen to the community overall in terms of what they're looking for and what they want next. So we that request feature button we really listen to, and that's dictating the future of our technology. So I think we're gonna we really highly appreciate anybody who's consistently giving us feedback, and we want to see you all successful. So we keep trying to build tools to make to even just little things to be able to make you as efficient as possible and save as much money as possible in finding and landing the next deal.
Dude, amazing. Absolutely awesome, man. Thank you so much, Matt, for coming on here, joining me today, and even sharing the demo and taking everyone through the Deal Machine app, man. A lot of power in the tool when you actually know how to use it and see where the value's at. Now, of course, I'm sure people want to, I'm sure there's somebody right now who wants to get out there and get Deal Machine if they haven't done so already. And again, thank you so much for hopping on here. You can actually go to drive4deals.com to get the app, guys, and they actually get it's free trial, right? And some deal credits. Is that right?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, if you're gonna try Deal Machine, like definitely go through Luke, just because you're gonna get deal credits that you wouldn't get elsewhere. So we through Luke's link and promo code, you get a 7-day free trial, and then you get 15 deal credits, I believe, that go towards your mailers, that go towards your skip tracing, anything around the marketing channels we want to give you for free. So that way you have all the reason to get out there, start that free trial, start driving, start getting in touch with people, start making things happen. I know our general pricing, I mean, it's our list engines as low as $29 a month. If you have a whole street team, it can be up to a couple $100 a month for our driving for dollars engine, but we've got plans everywhere in between. So we want to make it as easy as possible to give you guys technology to go out there and make things happen. So
awesome, man. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Again, man, I'm just so pumped up. We gave so much value today. Thank you so much, man.
For sure, man. Yeah.
I'm just happy we're able to get together, because I know, man, with newbies hopping on and utilizing new tools, a lot of times they miss over those features, especially the highlight feature. I'm so glad that you over that, because that's one of those things, man, a button that you just might miss. Yep. And so I'm so glad we were able to provide all of that value today. And thank you so much for that, Matt.
For sure, man. Yeah, I mean, this is a video you might have to pause and take notes on a couple times and have to rewatch a couple times. That's great. Like, keep this as kind of a bookmarked way, so that way when you're out there and driving around, or when you're getting ready to market to leads or things like that, try to go to that section and see. I try to share as many pro tips as possible around how to really get results from this. So use this as kind of a reference point for a lot of that stuff. And obviously, like, Luke's putting out great content all the time between all social media channels, your course, all that stuff. So we want to be an extension of that and help you take action on everything that you're learning.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. So guys, get out there, start driving. You guys have the tool now. There's no need to be in the prehistoric days, right? Writing everything down on pen and paper. We've got Deal Machine now. And as a matter of fact, we're moving and getting a hold of our motivated sellers faster than ever. I'm so excited, man. We're going to be closing a deal this week, actually. It's a house here in Deltona. We found it, driving for dollars, getting out there and driving. And actually, I think I shared with you, it was 500 properties, and we got to this deal, and we'll be closing a deal for about, I think it's 8,400 in total. No, actually, it's twice that. It's 16. We're splitting the deal with another partner. It's about 16 grand in total. Cool. it's amazing. It's amazing what's
Yeah, man.
possible from just getting out there driving. And as you know, man, we do it every Saturday with, I was with my spouse and my little boy in the back seat, and look,
Yeah.
we're turning into a profit, right? That we can invest into other things.
Incredible.
Truly, truly powerful, man. Deal Machine is amazing. So again, guys, if you want to get the tool, all right, and you want to get in the 2020 way of doing things while you're out there driving, get the tool, guys. You can go to drive4deals.com, utilize the promo code DFD, and you can take advantage of those 15 free deal credits to get you going, and also a free trial. So there's really no reason why you shouldn't be clicking right now and getting the app. All right. So let's go ahead and let's create some success. And much, I think, thank you again, man.
Yeah.
Look, I know this, you know, I know it's just us two right now that's physically here talking to each other, but you know, from watching it, I know everyone's gonna watch this video after we've recorded this, and it's gonna get a lot of value out of it. So I just want to say thank you so much again for joining the SOW Nation and sharing so much value, Matt. Thank you.
Anytime, Luke. Yeah.
Machine. And tell David I said thank you too.
For sure. Of course. Yeah. We always love getting on with you, and this is great, man. So thanks again for having me. And you know, excited to see everybody take action on it.
Awesome. Fantastic. And that's it for the show. I hope you guys have really, really enjoyed the show. If you did, leave a review, subscribe. Whatever you do, spread the news so that way others can get the value. Let's share it so others can also grow with us, guys. It's all about teamwork, and it's teamwork makes the dream work. And aside from that, right, when you have amazing tools and amazing supporters to the investor community like Deal Machine, there's really no limits to this. Really, really no limits, guys. You can take this, as Matt was mentioning earlier, you can start right now, right, just getting the tool and utilizing it. But once you really start to get a hold of it, you can do a whole lot more. You can scale it. It's scalable. So there's no limits to this, guys. Get out there, start taking action. Drive for dollars, and much success to you. Until next time on the show, I'll see you guys later.